Okay, so how are you today? Good, good. He's tired. Okay, so we will continue our lecture. We already finished with the ecology, habitats, ecosystem, terrestrial ecosystem, the 10 biomes, aquatic ecosystem, marine, freshwater, lentic, lotic, swamp, marshes, all of that. Okay? So the one that we just finished is actually what we call the ecosystem diversity. Okay? So we have talked about diversity in the ecosystem, including habitats, biomes, and etc. Now we'll continue with the diversity, another diversity, which is organism diversity. Most of the time is also known as a species diversity. Now we are going to the species, organisms biodiversity. Okay, now for the organisms biodiversity, of course, we will start with the we call it primitive, because, usually humans, when they learn something, the one that's really simple is considered as primitive, and also it is the one that actually the first type of organisms that live on Earth, that will evolve into different type of organism. They are very simple. It's called anybody know? Group of organisms that do not have nucleus. Prokaryote. So we start with this prokaryote. Prokaryote. Okay. So prokaryote. Even though this is primitive, but they actually better than other organisms. You know what? Because they have been living in Earth for billion years. So these prokaryotes, their generations has been here for billion years, starting from the beginning of the Earth formation or creation. Okay, compared to, for example, dinosaurs, right? Dinosaurs, they are big, but dinosaurs usually live for about maybe only 2 million years. And what happened with the dinosaurs? They extinct, right? You know the Jurassic Park. Okay. Now, prokaryote, it has been here for billion years. That's their adaptation. Why and how? So again, prokaryote, we have learned that prokaryote is divided into 2 types, right? What is the first one called?
Bacteria.
Bacteria. Good job, Elmer. What is the second type?
Archaea.
Archaea. Archaea. Yeah, 2 types of prokaryotes. Okay, bacteria and archaea. Both of them, because it is prokaryote, again, they are unicellular organisms. Okay, they only consist of one cell, very simple, and there is no nucleus. Okay, no nucleus. Okay, so because they are very simple, they are actually very easy to adapt to environment, because they can reproduce so fast. They can acquire nutrients easily from their environment. Even many of them, especially this group over here, bacteria, is actually live in other organisms and take advantage of the other organism nutrients. What do you call the bacteria that is actually causing disease to other organism? What is the general name for organism that actually causing, harmful to other organism?
Is it pathogenic?
Yeah, for bacteria called pathogenic, but in general it's called a parasite. Okay, so parasite. For bacteria, they have special name. It's called pathogenic. What does patho mean? You're going to the medical school. What does patho mean? Pathology. What is you learn in pathology? Disease. So pathogenic mean organism that causing disease. It's not only parasite, but also causing disease, especially when we talk about human disease. So that's pathogenic mean. But mostly they are also generally named as a parasite. Parasite mean organism that take advantage to other organism. Okay, maybe causing disease or not. Okay, sometimes there are some organism that parasite, but they don't really causing disease. They just take advantage of the other organism. Okay, do you have questions so far for this two type of prokaryote? Okay, now we're gonna look at their structure. We will not spend a lot of time in this one because this is not easy to see because this is what we call the microorganism. They are very small. They are very small. What do you need? Because this is microorganism. What do you need to see them?
Microscope.
Micro, and then scope. What does scope mean? See. In order to see them, you need microscope. Scope that can be used to see microorganism. However, even though you cannot see them, but you can see their action. You can see their action. Like for example, the first time we came here, we went to the place when you make the mud balls. What is actually mud balls consist of? A lot of bacteria. We actually, what we call the inoculate bacteria to the mud balls, and then we make them growings into the mud balls, and later we're gonna release that mud ball, which is now become million of bacteria, especially in it, to clean the environment. Okay, we don't see them, but we see their action. Okay, so most of the bacteria, okay, they are, this is mostly, okay, they are heterotroph. They are heterotroph. Mostly, let's say 90% or 95% bacteria, they are heterotroph. What does heterotroph mean? In science, usually scientific term consists of two words, and each word have meaning, and you can combine the meaning. Like trophic mean actually food. Hetero mean other. So it means that bacteria have to take the food from other. They cannot make their own food. Therefore, heterotroph mean. Okay. So majority of bacteria, they are heterotroph. Okay. Therefore, many of them become parasite. Why parasite? Because they take the nutrients or the food from other. Okay. Few autotroph. Autotroph. What does autotroph mean?
They make their own food.
Yeah, auto means self. What? Trophic means food. They can make their own food. Example of autotroph, all plants and algae, they are autotroph. But bacteria, majority heterotroph, some of them autotroph. Especially this bacteria that will become algae like later actually. They evolve into algae because what? Because they're creating that chloroplast kind of thing, organelle that able to create the food. So by evolution, this autotrophic bacteria will evolve into the algae. And algae then evolve into what? Into the plants. You follow that direction, right? Now, all bacteria, not 99% bacteria, right, has cell wall. it has cell wall. 99%. Only 1% is called a myxoplasm, something like that. It's a group that do not have cell wall, but they are. 99% have the cell wall. So if we try to maybe draw, okay, a bacteria, okay, of course all organism, remember, consists of cell, what? And cell will have this. It's called the cell membrane. Okay, so all cell have cell membrane. It doesn't matter, bacteria, plant, fungi, protists, they all have cell membrane. But not all have cell wall. Only 3 group of organisms that have cell wall. So the one that have cell wall, I'm gonna put it over here. Bacteria, they have cell wall. Fungi, they have cell wall. And of course, plant. Okay, this is 3 organisms that have cell wall. The other 2 organisms, okay, will not have the cell wall. What is that? Protozoa, and we can put plant and algae over here, because algae is also plant-like, organism. They have cell wall. Now, the one that do not have cell wall will be protozoa and zoo, the animals. Okay, now, cell wall. Okay. So it has cell membrane, and then it will have cell wall over here, outside. Okay, and this cell wall, if made of structure, is called a peptidoglycan. Okay, so that's the name of chemical or molecules that make the cell wall of bacteria. It's made of peptidoglycan. And again, from the name, it's telling you it consists of peptide. Peptide means protein, glycan, glucose means carbohydrate. It's combination between protein and carbohydrate in the cell wall of this bacteria. Okay, now this is what makes bacteria so adapted. They live longer. They have been here for billion years. In addition of the cell wall, some bacteria have additional extra membrane outside. Extra protection. Okay? So it's causing them is really difficult to be digested or to be killed, to be destroyed. Okay? Especially before we create the antibiotics, before we create, the antiseptic and etc. It's going to be difficult to kill bacteria naturally. So this extra layer occur here. It can call, if it is really solid, it's called capsule. It capsule. And this capsule make them be very difficult to kill. Even it make them, stay in the harsh environment for longer period of time. They can what we call dormant, dormancy. If it is slimy, so there are 2 types. Okay, if this extracellular layer can be capsule or can be slimy. If it is slimy, it's called the slime layers. Capsule or slime layer. Mostly slime layer is used, of course, for protection and also for attachment. Many bacteria that live in our gums, our teeth, they actually have slime layer. They can attract to our gum, stay there with this slime layer. Can you get this one, friend? Okay, again, we're talking about biodiversity and also adaptation over here. Why they are so strong, why they are live for longer time. They don't live longer time, but they actually, reproduce and, they're able to present in this world for a long time. Okay, inside. The inside, of course, is going to be the same. It's called the what? All cell will have this one. It's called the cytoplasm. And cytoplasm mostly consists of water plus other small structure. Okay, Now for the bacteria, in the cytoplasm, they will have this. Okay, if we take it out, just, it's not in the circular shape, it's actually look like this. What is that? What the structure that look like this? It has two strands. Yeah, chromosome, but what is special? DNA. So DNA create the chromosome. You correct, a chromosome. This whole thing over here is called chromosomes, right? Chromosome that actually consists of DNA. And chromosomes of bacteria is circular. Circular chromosome. And it is only one circular chromosome. You follow this, right? How about human? How many chromosomes that human have in its cell? Remember its cell, right? How many chromosomes that we have?
46.
46. Yeah, you're right, 46. But bacteria only have one chromosome. Okay. Now, in addition of chromosome, they also have special DNA circle, circular DNA, is called plasmid. You can say plasmid. This is really important for them. This DNA plasmid actually carry many resistant gene. Remember, DNA is gene, right? Every sequence of DNA is become gene. So bacteria maybe carry about 8 to 20 genes only. Human carry about 22,000 to 25,000 genes. You can see the difference, right? So many. Now, in addition of this chromosome that carry gene, they also have plasmid that carry gene. But the gene over here is very special, which is for what? Resistant. It's called the resistant gene. That's the reason why many bacteria able to be resistant against antibiotics. You see, you use antibiotic. If you don't use it correctly, you're actually making bacteria become stronger and stronger. What is example of incorrect use of antibiotics? Anybody can tell? What is example of, usually many patients, do it because they don't understand.
Not finishing your...
Not good job, not finishing the antibiotics. So usually doctor will give you antibiotic, they say, finish it in 10 days, right? They give you, a certain number of antibiotic, they say, finish it in 10 days. Most of the time, when you use it after 5 days, it's actually already killed so many pathogenic bacteria. Like say your sore throat is killed, let's say 90% of them. But there are 10% that is strong, still there. And then you think I'm already healthy, right? And then you do not finish the antibiotics. What happened? The 10% that is strong will not die because you stop using the antibiotic. What happened with this strong one? When they reproduce, what will be their offspring? Where will be their babies? Strong or not strong? Strong. You see that one? That's adaptation. How they adapt with this changing. Yeah? So that's an example of why these bacteria are able to be resistant. They actually have the resistant gene, primarily carried by the plasmid. And the plasmid is also now is being used by scientists, especially, biotechnology, genes, what you call this, you can transfer gene to gene using this plasmid. Like for example, insulin. So scientists are actually able to put insulin gene, human insulin gene over here, and then make this bacteria to produce what? Insulin. Okay, so that's what we call the genetic engineering. Okay, if you interested in this, you can go to that. Maybe I believe UK have that kind of genetic type of engineering lab that able to actually put specific gene into this, mostly using plasmid, and then creating a new product, hormones, enzyme, etc. Okay, so this is what we call this again, the small circle chromosome additional to their main chromosome is called the plasmid. Okay, now, do they have organelles?
No.
They actually have, but only one type organelle, which is the organelle is really important for all organisms, including this bacteria. The organelle that able to make proteins. Anybody know what is the name of organelle that make protein?
Is it ribosomes?
Ribosome. So they have a ribosome. That's the only organelle that they have. Therefore, what happened? They're able to make proteins. Example of proteins are enzymes and toxin. The way they kill us, this is pathogenic bacteria. What do you think they do? Do they eat us? Do they have mouth to eat our cell little by little? No. What they do, they actually produce enzyme, which is harsh. It can digest our cell, digest our membranes, digest our tissue, and many of them also produce toxin. Both enzyme and toxin are proteins. And it is made from what? By what? By this ribosome. Say they do have ribosome. Okay, now, do they need energy to create this enzyme or to perform their activity? Of course, yes. All cells require energy, and the energy that we use, anybody know what is the name of the energy, the currency that we use in our cell? We don't use dollar, we don't use
ATP?
ATP, correct. Now, for higher animals, okay, ATP produced by an organelle. Anybody know the name of the organelle that produce ATP?
Mitochondria.
Mitochondria. But this one do not have mitochondria. You see that one? However, they're able to create the ATP by using the process from their cell membranes and then all the process, in their cells. So they have the ability to produce ATP even without mitochondria. Even many of them are able to create ATP without oxygen. We cannot, like us, higher animal, cannot produce ATP without oxygen, right? We have to breathe. But many bacteria, they're able to produce ATP without oxygen. Example in the mud ball. The mud ball that we create is actually, they reproduce, they have the energy through a process called, anybody know what is the process that used for making their energy without using oxygen?
Anaerobic. Anaerobic.
Anaerobic. Yeah, there is a special name for that one. Fermentation. Yeah, anaerobics, respiration is called fermentation. Yeast, also another type of organism that able to perform fermentation. Okay. You follow this, right? And again, this structure actually give us the idea. Yes, they are actually very strong. They are very simple. Yeah. They reproduce very fast. So their reproductions mostly asexual. A mean no. So in scientific term, A mean no. Like my name, a goose, I am not goose. Okay. So asexual reproductions. So how they reproduce? Just what we call binary fission. The process of their reproduction is called binary fission. Binary fission. Okay, binary fission, which is one cell, they're growing a little bit, after certain time, so different bacteria have different time to reproduce. Then they become 2. Okay? And then after certain time, each of these will become 2. Okay? Hola. Okay? So that's what we call binary fission. They divide into 2 in certain time. Now the time that they use, so each time over here is called doubling time. Okay? So each time they use to divide or to reproduce is called doubling time. Okay? Yes.
Is this different from mitosis?
Yes, it is mitosis. Yeah, it is a process of cell division. Mitosis, which is from one cell to 2 cells. That's mitosis. Right? Which is the whole cell will divide. Okay? This is a type of mitosis. Okay? But we call this in bacteria called the binary fission. Because in the animal later we're going to have mitosis and meiosis. They don't have meiosis because meiosis is reproduction of sperm and eggs. They do not produce this one. So they just perform mitosis, which is called the binary fission, and they perform it with double every time. Every bacteria, they have different doubling time. Maybe some bacteria, their doubling time is 10 minutes. Another bacteria maybe 20 minutes. Another bacteria maybe 25 minutes. So the smaller the doubling time, the faster or the gonna be faster or gonna be okay. So if this bacteria have smaller doubling time, it means that they're gonna reproduce faster compared to bacteria that have higher doubling time. Okay, let's say this is just example. The doubling time of bacteria is 10 minutes. Hey, let's say 10 minutes. Doubling time 10 minutes. Okay. Now, after 1 hour, how many bacteria will be there? It's starting from one bacteria. Let's say you have one bacteria. After 1 hour, how many bacteria will be? This one 10 minutes, right? And then this one after 20 minutes, right? 4 after 20 minutes. Okay, 4 after 20 minutes, right? And then 8 after how many minutes?
30.
30 minutes. And then what is after 8?
10.
No, double for 8 is 16, what? 16 after 40 minutes, right? And then how many? 32 after 1 hour. Got it? You follow it? So if it start with 1, but mostly bacteria, they will start with million. You can imagine, right? So bacteria start with million. If we have 1 million start bacteria within 1 hour, how many million? A lot. 320 millions within only 1 hour. I just want to make sure you know how this bacteria works a lot, because they actually reproduce very fast. They have what we call the doubling time. Okay. Do you have questions so far? Now, if you look microscope, mainly bacteria, it has 3 main shape. Okay, you can look at it. I select it. Only have 3 main shape of bacteria cell. Okay, the first one over here is look like ball. It's a round, it's spear, spear, like ball. Okay, remember this is 3 dimension, right? It's like a ball, spears. And then the second one is look like rod, long. Okay, and the last one look like a spiral, curly. Okay, the one that look like spear is called. It has special terminology. Anybody know what is?
Is it cocci?
This is a. If it is only one, it's called a coccus. But if it is more than one, cocci. That's how the scientific terminology. Okay. Cactus, if it's in one, cacti, you have many cacti. Okay. Rot, bacillus. If it is many, it's called bacilli. What? Bacillus. Okay, bacillus. If it is rod shape. And then if it is spiral, is called the spirillum. Spirillum. Spiral bacteria. That's the three main shape of bacteria. Get it, man? Now, usually their name, most of the time, based on their shape. Name of the bacteria. Okay. Now, this is the shape. Okay. Three main shape. What is that? Coccus, bacillus, and spirillum. But in addition of the shape, they can also arrange themselves. Maybe one like this, maybe two. If it is two, it's called diplo. Okay, you put diplo in the front. Then if it is two of round bacteria, what is the name going to be? Diplococcus. That's easy, right? Diplococcus. Okay. If it is look like a chain, long, it's called, you can put strepto in from it. Strepto. Okay. So if it is a lot of round bacteria arranging in the chain-like structure, it's going to be called a streptococcus. Streptococcus. Example is the one that causing the strep, the strep. It's actually the shape telling you the streptococcus bacteria. If it is arranging like a grape or cluster, like this, okay, also a lot of cluster. This one is called the Staphylo. You put Staphylo in front. Okay. Example, many skin bacteria, they have this shape. There are Staphylococcus aureus, there are Staphylococcus epidermis. How many of you take microbiology already? You know, right? The Staphylococcus aureus, epidermis, in the head is capitis, many types. But they have the same shape and arrangement. Usually, Staphylococcus aureus, for example, if you put it in the media, this most of the time give you the yellow color, for example. So you see yellow colony of bacteria. Oh, this is Staphylococcus aureus. Epidermis usually just white kind of color, or tan color. Okay, you have question. Okay, so this is prokaryote, and again, within themselves, they are already diverse. Okay, this is the first organism or species diversity, which is prokaryote. Okay. Okay, still about 15 minutes. What is we finish? 45, right? Oh, 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Hey. Now, what is after prokaryote? What is the opposite of prokaryote? Eukaryote. So now we go to diversity of eukaryotes. Okay? Diversity of eukaryote. And eukaryote has 4 kingdom. Okay, so eukaryote have 4 kingdom, right? Okay, organism that have nucleus on their cell, they actually have 4 kingdom. Okay, what is the first one? The one is very primitive also. Yes, good job, Elmer. So protists. Okay, protists. And protists, because they are primitive, you know, some of them look like animals, some of them look like plant. Therefore, it's divided into two types. The one that look plant is called algae, and the one that look like animal is called protozoa. Protozoa. Okay. Now, what is the second one? What is after protists?
Fungi.
You can, yeah, mycota, which is fungi. Okay, fungi. Okay, what is the next kingdom?
Plantae.
Plant or plante. And what is the last kingdom?
Mammalia.
Huh?
Mammalia.
No, mammalia is not kingdom. Mammalia is.
Oh, that's.
You say mammalia or animalia?
Is a mammalia. It's not. Because mammalia is not kingdom. Mammalia is.
Domain.
Oh, domain is even at the top. There are only 3 domains. Class. Mammalia is class. Mammalia. Under that kingdom, there's going to be phylum and then class. But what is the kingdom for Animalia? Animal. Not mammal, but animal. Mammal is one of animal type organism. Anybody have question? All right. I think we're gonna stop here. Okay, so we're gonna continue with this protest later. I don't think we have class tomorrow. Tomorrow you will go. You have class actually in San Ramon. So that's actually your lecture time in San Ramon in the hospital. Therefore, we will not have class tomorrow because you already have class time during that visit. So we'll continue on Wednesday. Also, we don't have class because we will go to the La Danta for the whole day. Maybe on Thursday before we go to the Monteverde. We move to Monteverde. Okay. I think 2 of you have not given me the assignment yet. I will need your assignment, then I will return it back to you as soon as possible. Okay.